Okay, so hello and welcome to the Pivot Challenge. I'm Atty and I'm very glad you're here. Hello.
Oh yeah.
This is being recorded, so just so you know, you will get the replay. And I'm using notes because I don't want to forget what I'm going to say. So I'm doing old school. Cameras on if you're comfortable. Clearly you're fine with that. There will be some interaction, but you can also just not join in if that's your preference. It's fine, whatever you want. And after the call, you'll get a Notion workbook, which has a simple 30 to 90-day action plan. So today we're going to kind of come up with an action or two, and then the Notion workbook will hopefully help you implement that. It'll be in your inbox within 24 hours. So, question. How many of you have been going round in circles on the same career questions for weeks or maybe months or possibly years if you're anything like me? Okay. So these could be something like, should I go for a promotion? Should I pivot into something new? Leave the company, which seems to come up quite a lot. Leave tech entirely. Start a side project, start a business. You've rewritten your CV 100 times, opened tabs, made lists, and you're still no closer to deciding, perhaps. So let's just take a minute and let that feeling just settle. Okay. Now imagine 6 months from now, you're still in the same place in your head, still in the same loop, still wondering, still stuck. Does that feel heavy for you? So here's what we're doing today. It's just three simple steps. Number one, we're going to name your 2 to 3 real options so you stop spinning through endless possibilities. Number two, we're going to pick one of those options to test so you know which one's actually pulling you forward. And number three, we're going to name your biggest doubt so it doesn't stop you. And by the end of today, or in an hour, you'll know what option you're leaning towards. As I mentioned, you'll get a workbook with a template, an action plan template, so you know what to do next. And if you want support working through your doubts and making the final decision, you can book a free intro call with me, and I'll drop the link in at the end. So, sound good? Okay, let's go. Right, first of all, we're going to do some interaction. So in the chat, could you please share one thing you're proud of? I'll put this list in the chat. One thing you're proud of, one thing you're grateful for, and the biggie, one challenge you're having in your career when you think about your next step. So let me just post those in the call for you. Where are we? Okay, I've got 3 different screens, so it's quite interesting. And just take your time. There are just 2 of us on the call at the moment, so if you do want to come off mute and just say things out loud as well, that's absolutely fine.
I've got 2 out of 3. I'm stuck on proud.
Oh, okay. I'll let you think about that for a minute. It doesn't have to be work related, by the way. This can be anything. So oh, nice. Okay. Thank you for proud. I love the way you've put it in big bold letters. That I'm continuing to show up for others while feeling shit myself. Oh my God, I just got tingles all over. Shouldn't get ASMR from that, should I? Well done. I mean, great. Good for you. Do you know what? I had a bad couple of weeks ago. Illness, nothing career related. And I was like, I can't show up for anyone. I can't show up for anyone. Then I did a coaching call and I just felt really good afterwards. So congratulations on being able to do that. And I'm really sorry you're feeling shit yourself. Grateful for your family and friends. Great. Challenge in your career, having the confidence and ability to get and do well in a senior role. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so before we dive in, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. Thank you for sharing that, and we'll come back to these. So I've been where you are in somewhere or another. I'll just give you a very quick, brief story. So at one point, my senior consultant job at a tech consultancy looked perfect on paper. It was remote, fully remote in COVID, so I thought that was good. Very flexible, good pay. So in theory, I was able to homeschool my kids and make dinner and work. But in reality, I was completely stressed out. I felt completely drained and I felt very boxed in. Even though I seemed to have flexibility, I really felt constrained. So, like, I was trying to fit into hours and patterns and expectations that weren't mine, or that used to be mine, when I was younger or earlier in my career, but they didn't work for me anymore now. And I think, why am I so stressed? I should be glad I have a job. I just need to do more. I just need to be better, be more organized, work harder, calm down. Also, I was perimenopausal and had undiagnosed ADHD. And I just think, why can't I just cope? I'm smart, I'm clever, I know how things roll. Why can't I just cope? And why can't I decide what to do? Like, for instance, for me, it was quit my job and go freelance or stay in my job. Okay. Both, I think. I realized it wasn't a lack of confidence around my actual skills. It was a lack of clarity. I wasn't clear on what I wanted, right? I just needed a way to untangle all the mess and the questions and to stop spinning and just decide already. But what seems very simple on the surface when all this is going on is not simple at all. So built a simple framework, simple and practical, that hopefully moves you forward and gets you going. I will stop talking in a second and ask you to do something, but one more thing. A client of mine kept applying for roles. In fact, two clients of mine kept applying for roles at the same company over and over. They got a bit fixated on this company they wanted to work for, a bit different company for each one, hoping that one of their applications would break through, right? So once we looked at their options and sorted out their doubts, they realized the cycle itself was the problem. That's what was blocking them. They were trapped in a pattern. So they redirected their energy and they've both actually got new jobs now. Okay, so right, let's get you going. I'm just talking about me. All right, there's a whole lot more here. I was just going to say, it's possible been trying to do this alone. Would that be fair to say, to some extent?
All I've done is survive. I haven't tried anything.
Survive. Okay, well, that's quite a lot. That's a big thing, I think. Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Still
I'm
here.
sure you're 75% of the way there. Okay. So trying to figure out alone can keep you stuck, right? Not because you're not capable, but just because when you're inside your own head, you can't see the patterns, like I was talking about the patterns, right? And let's just be really clear about this. When you're trying, you might be trying to logic your way to the right answer. Figure out what's right, what's wrong, what's the right move, what's the wrong move. There is no necessarily any right answer. There's just the next move. We just need to get moving. Okay, so lesson time. Okay, we're going to name your 2 to 3 options. So, pens and papers ready. I know you are already ready. What we're going to do is narrow it down to 2 or 3 real options. So these are things that you could do in the next 30 to 90 days, potentially. If some of this doesn't relate to your particular situation, that's fine. You can tell me, or you can just carry on and see where it takes you. So we're not looking for fantasy options at the moment. We're looking for real ones. Okay, so little brain dump, take 3 minutes and write down every career option you've been considering. I mean, you can go wacky if you want. Bring everything in. Could be a promotion, a new role at your company, different area in tech. And so maybe you want to make jam and look after rabbits, take a mental health break, which is also a biggie. Sip of tea. And just while you're doing that, I'm going to drop the intro call link in the chat. So if you're watching on replay, you can pause at this point and just take as long as you need to write down your options. But there's no rush, just whenever you take all the time you need.
Like,
And there's no judgment. You don't need to self-censor.
what
Sorry?
makes it a real option?
Oh, okay. So, all right. So I've probably thrown you off a bit with that. Tell you what, just write down anything. Anything you've been considering at all, even if you've woken up at 3 in the morning going, I could, go to NASA and train to become an astronaut, and then I wouldn't have to deal with this shit anymore.
Got it. How did you know?
I know, I'm just, psychic.
Okay, now I've got 5 options then.
That's great. Okay. Would you care to share any of them? Any or all of them?
Yeah, 3 are all sticking in my career. One is to just stick it out at my current job whilst applying for new ones.
Okay. Yeah.
The next one is to stick it out at my job and just try to stay like another year because I'm due a sabbatical soon. It would be nice to get that.
Okay.
Another one would be just to quit and look for new jobs, which would be nice for my mental health. 4,
Yeah.
completely change career, which is very tempting. 5, start my own business because I really think I'd be great at it.
Oh, I love that so much. I get so excited when people are just like, I'd be great at it. Okay. These are all really good options and all pretty realistic options as well.
Yeah, no
There's no
NASA.
no NASA. I mean, I'm slightly disappointed, but it's okay.
I don't fancy
neither.
going to space, to be honest. Like,
You don't.
no.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's all around us anyway. You don't really need to. Okay. Right. So again, whether this applies or not, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go through it and we'll see where we go with it. So the part 2 is a bit of a reality check. Okay. So look at your list. Thanks for sharing, by the way. Take a couple of minutes to cross out anything that should put this in the chat as well. Anything that, sorry, you can't actually do in the next 30 to 90 days. And or drains you just thinking about it. And or sounds good on paper but doesn't actually excite you. And again, you're not committing to anything. You're just allowing yourself to think about these things, yeah? So I'm going to put this in the chat.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. I already forgot.
But yeah, no, that's fine. I forgot as soon as I said it.
Great. You can't actually do. Like, I could start my own business, but I wouldn't be getting any real income in for like a long time, right? So does that make it unfeasible for me?
It's kind of okay. So it's a very good question. You wouldn't have to like get a business up and running and make 50 grand because I mean, if you did that, kudos. But it's more, I guess. I mean, potentially that could be an option, couldn't it? If you said you were gonna maybe up sticks and relocate to another country, that might be more of a 2 or 3 or 5 year thing.
Right,
So
right.
it's kind of up to you. There's not really if that's not too annoying, there's not really a kind of set bar. It's kind of what we're trying to do is work our way around your brain a little bit and find out what might work for you. So you can leave them all on there if you want.
I think they're all realistic. The thought of staying in my job certainly drains me, but I do need the money, so I
Okay.
have to deal with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay. So perhaps then you could say this is your kind of short list. Okay, so the next step would be to circle your top 2 or 3 options. And again, that's kind of up to you what they are, as in, are you going with a more practical one? Are you going with a more, that's the one I'd love to do? If you had to sort them into like 5, what would be your top 2 or 3? And again, if that's too rigid, that's fine. We can go with what you've got. But for the purposes of the replay, yeah, so I'm just going to go over what we've done. We've made a list, and then we're doing a reality check, which is to look at that list and cross anything out that you can't actually do in the next 30 to 90 days, or that drains you just thinking about it, or that sounds good on paper, but doesn't actually excite you. We're looking to narrow it down to 2 or 3 options that are doable and at least a little bit energizing. And
Okay,
again,
I've got it down
yeah,
to 3. I've got it down to 3 and in order as well.
perfect. Okay, so yeah, just to recap, you're not committing to anything now.
Mm-hmm.
All we're doing is prodding our brain in that direction, and we're going to see if that feels right for us. You're not handing in your notice. You're not applying to Companies House for a company's registration. We're just exploring. So that helps. Great. So hit me with your top 3 if that's okay.
Number 1, stick it out while applying for new jobs.
Yeah.
Is the most realistic, reasonable thing. I don't feel that excited, but I don't want to feel pushed out of a career that I previously loved just because of one bad experience. I might feel happier somewhere else. It's worth a go. Number
Yeah.
2, completely change career, but I've done that a few times and I'm always running away.
Okay. All right.
3, start my own business. Ultimately, that is what I want to do, but like I feel very
Okay.
paralyzed by indecision about that.
That's fine. That's fine. And completely normal. And we can
Yeah.
talk about that as well.
Mm,
And there's no reason to say you can't do that as well as doing something else, right?
true.
Okay, well done. Because they're all quite different. So you've got sticking out at your current job and apply for other jobs. Is that other jobs within the same company or
No,
elsewhere?
absolutely not. The other job,
Okay.
other companies, nicer companies.
So stick it out your current job slash company and apply for new jobs outside that company.
Mhm.
2, change career again.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay.
Why not? Like,
3,
could.
start your own business.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So they're all quite different. Fantastic. Okay, so for anybody that's watching, I might yeah, we drop a 1 in the chat if you have your options. I'm not following the script here at all. And okay, so with you, I'm really enjoying the fact that you seem to have a very open mind about your next steps. That could be one way of putting it. Maybe it's like I really don't know what I'm going to do. You have an open mind. It's a beautiful thing. But we're not choosing forever. We're just choosing your next move.
Mhm.
And by that, I don't mean we're choosing one of those 3 to jump into straight away. We're just choosing which one we're going to pay attention to for the next 40 minutes or so. Okay, so now let's figure out which one's actually pulling you. I know you said you put them in order, but we're going to talk about something slightly different now. Okay, so pick 1 to test. We're just going to work with 1 to test for now.
Yeah. Okay.
You've got 3 options, or 2 or 3. Here's the question. Which one actually makes you feel pulled, or something good, or intrigued, curiosity sparked? We're not talking about practicalities here. We're talking about how it feels for you when you think about it.
Starting my own business.
Okay, great. Yeah. So not which one looks, sorry, still going, not which one looks best on paper,
Yeah.
and not one which other people would choose for themselves or for you. So this is not about other people. This is about you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, because the thing is, you kind of already know, your brain is just looking for permission to choose that thing, right? So we're going to give it permission for a little while. Okay. So this is kind of an exercise that you've just already done, but I'm going to read it out anyway, which is take a couple of minutes and ask yourself these questions. Which option am I most, you could still revisit your list, you know, which option am I most curious about? And if you want to make notes about each one, that's absolutely fine, because we're not disregarding anything. So which option am I most curious about? Which one do I keep coming back to? And if I had to pick one to test this week, just to see what happens, what would it be? Take your time.
Oh, it's obvious that it would be that one.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Mm.
All right. So I've said drop an L in the chat if you know which one you're leaning towards, but I know you've already said yours is go.
Starting my own business.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Right. We are going to go on to doubts in a second. But I'm just curious. I would like to know what you're thinking about when you say your next business. Would you mind sharing?
I haven't a clue.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. What is it about starting your own business, quote unquote? That's what we do now. Not this. 90s much, 2000s much. What is it that you think of when you say the word starting my own business? Throw words at me or feelings.
I think that I understand what a good customer experience is. And I think that I'm good at identifying problems that people have that need to be solved.
Okay.
I think I have a really good all-round set of skills to engage with people. I can do like accountancy. I'm not afraid of that. I can do digital. Um, uh, yeah, I think that there's a lot of potential, and I'm very open and flexible, and I'm willing to kill my ideas too. Like if there's data that suggests that there isn't a market, do you know what I mean? Like I'm very open to that. So I'm just thinking about what can I explore and try, and like where's the demand and where's the profitability? Like I need to like it needs to be something profitable, like that at least can replace my income. Like it can't
Right.
worse than that. I would love to do something that could help working women like myself. Like I know the struggles that I have had.
Hmm.
Trying to combine like full-time working and parenting and running a household. I feel like there must be something in that that I could help with. Uh,
Oh, so sure. And
yeah.
so you sounds like you're being very strategic. So it's not like I have this passion. I mean, you
No.
clearly do have, you've just said that at the end,
A
but
passion
before
to
you
help.
said that, but it's
Yeah,
like, I want a business idea that's going to work. It's going to be profitable. I've got
yeah,
lots of skills. I want to apply them. I want this thing to work, whatever it is. Obviously,
yeah.
we all want our businesses to
But
work,
I,
but
but I, for me, I'm happy for it to be like a lifestyle business that replaces income. I'm not interested in being like a billionaire. Like, well, if it just came with no effort, that'd be fine. But I don't want to like sacrifice all the best years of my kids' lives
yeah.
to a business. I think that's what scares me a little bit because I think to succeed, you may need to do that a little bit. So, yeah, I've got a
I
lot.
mean, there's always push and pull for sure,
Yeah,
but there's not just one way of doing things. And there are many ways, there are many successful women entrepreneurs that I particularly know from my circles, having learned to be a coach,
yeah,
and I have business coaches, and I'm talking about some of them. They're both of them are mums. Um, so yeah, of course, there's going to be some work to be done, but what I think one of the things we always get trapped in, all of us, not just women, but everybody, is you've got to work hard to make money to do this, da 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 da, and it's helpful to speak to people who have they may have done things that way, but then they may have discovered a different way of doing things, or how can I be flexible? How can I maybe have multiple streams of income so that I
yeah.
can
That would
spend my
be,
energy on
yeah,
one thing, but the other things rolling away in the background, bringing in some cash.
that would
So
be ideal. Yeah.
yeah, okay, okay, that's very exciting. So um, just before we go on to the doubts, because we have gone through this quite quickly because there's just a couple of us, but which is fine. Um, you first of all, it sounds like you're skilled, confident. I love your sweatshirt.
I designed it.
Did you?
Yeah,
I designed mine. Mine says software
you.
developer. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I have a t-shirt shop.
So do I.
We,
Oh my God, that's so funny.
let's swap. Mine's called Shetex.
We're
What's
the
yours?
same. I think mine's called the feminist dev.
Excellent. All right. This is ridiculous. Okay.
I do
Another
it like the
story.
same
Let's do a
person.
podcast. Okay. All right. Okay. So, all right. So you entrepreneurial in that you already have a business already. You've got lots of skills and you want to apply them and you want to do something where you can live the life that you want to do. Pretty much like everybody, but you're really into that. Okay, great. Let's look at some doubts. So thank you for sharing that, by the way. So what we're going to do now is, because there's always something going on in our head, right? Like, why haven't I done it? Or what if it's too late? Things like that. So we're going to name your biggest doubt. Because when we think about what we want, sometimes our brain will try and stop us. So we're going to try and get ahead of our brain, our pesky brain. This isn't therapy, just FYI. We're not dwelling on anything. We're just naming the one thing that's in your way so that it doesn't slow you down. So for the option you're leaning towards, thinking about testing, which is in your case is starting your own business, ask yourself this question. What's the one doubt that's stopping me from moving forward? I'm going to throw some at you. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I regret it? What if people think I'm crazy? What if I can't afford it? What if I've left it too late? What if I look stupid? Etc.
Yeah. All of this.
I know.
I don't think it's too late. I don't think it's ever too late. Like,
Great. Well, that's a great place to start as well.
yeah. I guess I'm worried about you will make mistakes, and like how catastrophic will they be to my family, like financially? Yeah, I don't know. What if I make the wrong choice in what I start with? Or maybe I will. You know what I mean? Maybe that's part of the path.
So what if you make the wrong choice?
Yeah.
What if you pick option A instead of option B? What's like,
I mean, more like in terms of like a business, like what if I go down one route instead of another? Because I don't really know what I want to offer.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's
How do I pick the right market? Do you know what I mean? Like what if I don't pick the right thing? I think that's probably a big doubt.
okay. So you're thinking of how questions, which is good, which
Yeah.
is where you get creative. How would I solve this?
Yeah.
That's calling on your resources. And then you're also looking at the what if I pick the wrong one or the right one? And I get the impression that you're simplifying it just to say it. But is there a right or a wrong one? I don't want to be too airy-fairy, but we could just consider that for a second. It could
You know
be
what
right
I
if
do?
you get it right, and it could be wrong
Yeah.
if you don't get it right, if you see what I
What if I
mean?
pick something that has no demand? That I think that's a doubt that I have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So interesting, because then despite all your strategy and your skills and your experience, there's part of you that thinks you're just going to wander around pointing at a cloud and say, I'll do that one, without any
Yeah.
research or any kind of input from anyone else, which
Yeah. Right.
which is understandable, but you're probably not just going to pick something out of the air.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So those are all things I could overcome reasonably.
Yeah, but they're allowed to exist. We all
Yeah.
have doubts, and there's
Yeah.
probably 100, that we don't think of straight away, beyond
Yeah.
the obvious ones.
You know, I think it's all about like financial feasibility for me. And like,
Yeah.
what if I fuck us financially? That's the doubt.
Yeah, well, we don't want anybody to get fucked financially. That's not a goal. So for some reason, I've written down write your one doubt, but I don't want you to write your one doubt. I want you to write all the doubts you can think of, without as long as it doesn't depress you.
God.
These are just doubts. They're just thoughts. They're not real. Okay.
Mhm. What if I get ill?
Yeah.
Um, what if it's so successful I don't have any time for my family? That would be a great problem, wouldn't
That's a biggie.
it? I think that's a luxury doubt.
That's
Um,
all right. Write down everything. You don't need to self-censor.
what if I'm not actually as good as I think I am?
Interesting.
I think I've got plenty of doubts there.
I mean,
Once
of
you-
course, you don't have to do all of this now. This is obviously something you can, not saying you're going to go and do homework afterwards, but I will be sending you a template, and you can really, look at your notes at your leisure, or do you know what I mean? You can revisit this. Things will come up for you. We're not just expecting to just do this and then stop. This is going to stir up some ideas and some mud.
Yeah.
Would you care to share any or all of your doubts?
Well, all
It's
the
up
ones
to you, no
all
pressure.
the ones that you mentioned, plus, what if I don't pick the right thing to sell? What if there's no demand or it's not profitable? What if I focus financially? What if I get ill? What if I'm not as good as I actually think I am? What if it's so successful I don't have time for family? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all very understandable and probably quite common. Yeah. I was going to say, which would not be appropriate at all. I'd love to be that successful. Of course,
I
I
know
joke.
you're a luxury, it's just a luxury, don't you?
I joke. I'm jesting, of course. Okay. So now what we're going to do is sort it into noise versus signals.
Okay.
So what do I mean by that? So for each doubt, you look at your doubt and is it noise, which would be something like it's an old story that you're just used to telling yourself, like a fear that you've been carrying around with you, a message that you just assume about yourself, or a belief that you don't question. Like, oh, that's not for me, I can't do that, without even questioning it. Noise is something, it's just noise. It's not necessarily helpful, shall we say.
Yeah.
We're not shaming or judging anything. We're just saying, is that kind of helpful or is it just noise? A signal would be a real thing that you need to check or handle before you can move forward. Struggling to think of an example now, but if you go through your list and just see what you think is a noise, doubt, and see what you think is a signal that you need to actually do something about it.
Yeah, like picking the right thing in terms of demand and profitability is certainly signal and certainly actionable. Will I focus financially is signal too, because you need to think about, well, what do you need? What's the minimum you need to live off?
Yeah.
What have you got in savings? Nothing. What if I get ill? There's nothing really you can do about that, is there? Like, it's sort of noise in a way.
Yeah.
It could happen to anybody.
We don't, because we don't have to solve these right now. That could be because that's more like a worry than a kind of strategic issue, I would say. And that's maybe another distinction you could use. But it's and we're always going to get ill, right? People, I'm sorry, no, hopefully you don't get ill, but people will always, throughout life get ill occasionally.
Yeah.
So it's a worry, but it probably won't stop you doing what you want to do.
No, well, unless you're really ill.
Unless you're really ill, which is perfectly valid, yeah.
Then what if it's so successful I don't have time for family? Like, isn't something I need to worry about, but it is a signal in terms of like what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, because it's something you need to plan for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. So we're just going to look at the signal doubts at the moment. And this is another exercise. How are you doing, by the way? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. That's normally partway through, I'd do some kind of breathing and reset, but if you're okay to carry on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so for the items on your list, for the doubts that you've called signals, what would you need to do to address them? And again, it's very high level. We're not asking you to write a business plan. Just write down some thoughts. So just to recap for anybody watching, we've written down our doubts about the thing that we want to test. We've sorted them into, are they a noise or a signal? A noise being an old story or a fear that you've been carrying around, some kind of message or belief about yourself. Or is it a signal, which is a real thing you need to check or handle before you can move forward? And then for each one that's a signal, Just write down some thoughts about what you would need to do to address it.
Okay, I've got some.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Would you like to share any of those?
Understand minimum monthly income required.
Hmm.
Research potential markets to understand demand and profitability. Do the maths.
Do the maths.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. And another consideration, just to throw it in there, might be that you could, as I said before, it's not easy to have a full-time job and start a business, but you don't necessarily have to stop something in order to start the next thing,
Right.
especially in the planning and research stages, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might help ease some worry about whether it, not whether, but when and whether it's financially, it makes sense financially for you. It's profitable.
True.
Potentially you could keep working that while launching a business is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the point of the exercise around the doubts, apart from, exploring a bit and getting you thinking about the option that we're talking about, which is in your case starting a business, is also to understand that some of the worries that we have are what doubts that can kind of guide our action, like our next steps. And some of them are maybe not as helpful, and they're just messages that we tell ourselves, and potentially we can choose not to focus on them. I know it's not that simple, but yeah, that's kind of the point of this. Okay, so let's recap. You've done the work today. You've named 2 or 3 real options that you could be considering for your next move, whenever that might be. You've picked one to test. So that's the one that's pulling you most, and you've named your biggest doubt. Well, you've named some doubts. So they don't stop you just because they exist. Okay. So now you've got everything you need to make a decision. So what happens next is you'll get your Notion workbook with a 30 to 90-day action plan. So you know exactly what to do next. So you can use that, work through it. And if you get stuck or want support, I'm here. So again, just to recap, the point of the call is to make a decision, as in, what do I really want? What's pulling me? What's driving me? What makes me excited? You don't have to quit your job today, start a business today, move to the country and make jam today, or move to the city. Very city centric of me. It's more to understand what you want.
Yeah.
Because there will always be internal pressures, external pressures, the feeling that we need to meet some standard, all of these things. I'm not going to go into them in great detail, but we all have them. So the point of this is to understand what you want for yourself and your life. Okay. Okay. So before we wrap, I'll just take a moment. What's been your biggest insight from today?
I guess what a big question it is for me around starting a business. Yeah. But I am very drawn to that. So I should probably stop ignoring it at some point.
Okay, that's really interesting, the way you say stop ignoring it. It's
Yeah.
really interesting, isn't it? Can I just ask you about that for a second?
Yeah.
So, because it's so familiar, that thing where you like, oh, I've got this thing, but yeah. I do it with music actually, and everything else. But, well, not everything. But what when you say stop ignoring it, what do you mean? Can you just tell me a bit more?
I think about it all the time. I think I've thought about it for years and years and years and years. I
Yeah.
thought about it seriously for 10 years, I think, actually.
Okay.
I've always known that's kind of what I wanted, but I've never started, apart from this.
This,
Because it
which
was
is starting.
easy. Because it was
It is
easy.
starting.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just a lot of fear, I
Yeah.
think. And it's easy to continue as you are, and you're very busy just living like that anyway, so
Yeah.
there's no capacity to think
Yeah.
about it or to do anything.
Of course.
But the years
Especially,
keep going
yeah,
by, don't they? Yeah.
they do go by. Yes, and especially when you like, I said I had a job, and it paid me, by today's was 5 years ago, it was in COVID. I'd be on a lot more today if I'd stayed.
Yeah.
I'd be on a lot more today if I hadn't changed careers many, many times and had
Yeah.
career breaks.
Same.
But it's there is that thing, of thinking, but I have a job and I'm earning money and I'm progressing, and yeah, there's stuff wrong with it, but there's also stuff right with it.
There
So
is.
how are you supposed to choose?
Yeah.
So sometimes the thing that you have isn't enough. It's thinking about what you want,
Yeah.
and we don't always know what we want, but sometimes we know a little bit about what we want. Okay, thank you.
I want to be more of a master of my own destiny than be at the mercy of a company, especially as I get older.
Mm,
I
yeah.
feel more and more less tolerant to like
Mhm.
politics. It's
Yeah.
like
And if you've ever thought, ever, I could do your job, why the hell are you my senior? Or why the hell do you get paid more than me? And I'm not saying that's the case with you or anyone in your company, but I've spoken to people where it is the case and I've experienced it myself. That can be a real springboard for thinking, a catalyst to think, what can I do
Yeah.
next? This is not okay with me anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so which option is calling to you right now? I think we've established that, haven't we?
Mm.
And what's one thing you'll do this week?
Mm.
Now that's a bit unfair of me because we haven't actually gone through any like action steps or anything. So if you like, I can show you the Notion template.
Sure.
And make sure it's on the right screen. Can you see? Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Can you see? Sorry, my Zoom screen's gone all tiny. I don't know what to do. Okay, so this is quite a simple template. Okay, it's just to get you moving. So the point of all the coaching I do is taking action. And it doesn't mean smashing down the wall. It means like taking a tiny action, and then you start moving as opposed to you stay stuck. So
Yeah.
the minute you start doing something, then it's easier to do the next thing, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is kind of the principle behind this. So it's quite simple, but it's weeks 1 to 2, ground your decision. So get clear on what you decided and why it matters. Doesn't mean you have to start a business, but why does it matter? It's kind of getting real in your body, actually bringing it to your attention a bit more. So we've got like write down your decision in a sentence, list 3 reasons why it aligns with your values, identify 1 or 2 people you trust to talk it through with, and then book a chat or a call, for instance. And at the end of the week, at the end of each week, or at the end of the 2 weeks, what felt easy? Bit of a retrospective, what felt hard? What's one tiny win, and what's my focus for next week? So it's very simple, but it's aiming to allow that thing that you want to take up a small amount of your brain space,
Yeah.
giving yourself permission to explore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
great.
Sorry.
I think it's great. I think it's
Okay,
good.
cool. Great. Okay. I'm just going to quickly refer to my notes and see if there's anything else I've forgotten. Yeah, and of course, you don't have to do this on your own. You're welcome to book a free intro chat, 30 minutes, and we can talk more about. No, I think that's it. So, yeah, any thoughts or anything else you'd like to share before we close the call?
No, I think that was very interesting. Some very interesting questions. So thank you very much.
No, you're welcome, and thank you so much for showing up.
You're
Which,
welcome.
as you said, you show up for other people, show up for yourself as well. So you're proud of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so
was all good. Thank you very much, Natty. I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Thank you
Okay,
then.
bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.